Professor Alex Morgan walked into the classroom and placed his worn leather bag on the desk. The soft buzz of conversation immediately died down as 30 pairs of eyes, some with multiple pupils, others with strange colors, and a few that weren't eyes at all but sensory organs, turned toward him. "Good morning, class," he said, his voice carrying easily across the room. "Welcome to Advanced Predatory Species Studies." Alex had taught this class for 15 years at the Galactic Academy of Xenobiology. He enjoyed introducing students from across the Federation to the fascinating and terrifying creatures that evolved on the harshest worlds. But today was different. Today, his class roster included something unusual. A human, Alex glanced at. The back row where she sat. Kate Miller, according to the registry. She had dark brown hair pulled back in a simple ponytail and wore the standard Academy uniform, though it seemed a bit loose on her frame. Unlike the other students who clustered in familiar species groups, she sat alone with an empty seat on either side. "This semester," Alex continued, "we will study the apex predators of Class 7 Deathworlds. These are the most dangerous natural environments known to the Federation." A Nuzuli student raised one of his 4 blue-skinned arms. "Professor, isn't Earth classified as Deathworld 7? The classroom went quiet. All eyes shifted to Kate, who smiled politely. "Yes, Zadok, Earth is indeed classified as a Class 7 Deathworld," Alex confirmed. "Which makes us fortunate to have Ms. Miller joining us this semester. Perhaps she can offer some first-hand insights." Kate's smile didn't waver, but her green eyes seemed to sharpen with interest. "I'm happy to help where I can," she said. Her voice was softer than Alex expected, with a pleasant tone that somehow carried to every corner of the room. The Vortani students near the front visibly flinched at the sound. Their silver scales shimmered with nervous energy. One leaned over to whisper to another, their translucent gills fluttering. "Let's begin with an overview," Alex said, calling up a holographic display. "The Federation currently recognizes 37 worlds as Class 7 environments. These planets share certain characteristics: extreme temperature variations, high levels of background radiation, volatile weather patterns, and most importantly, for our studies, evolutionary pressure that creates highly efficient predatory species." The display showed a rotating series of creatures. A 6-legged feline with armored plates from Rigel 9, a nearly invisible snake-like organism from the methane swamps of Titan, a pack of volcanologues from Proxima, Centauri's second planet. These environments produce predators with remarkable adaptations, Alex continued. Enhanced sensory capabilities, redundant biological systems, problem-solving intelligence, and often pack-hunting behaviors. Kate took notes on an actual paper notebook, an oddity that didn't escape Alex's notice. Most students use digital systems connected to the Academy's AI. Why would she choose such a primitive method? "For next class," Alex said, "please review Chapters 1 through 3 in your texts. We'll discuss the common evolutionary pathways that lead to apex predator development." As students gathered their things, Alex noticed how they gave Kate a wide berth. The humans had only joined the Federation 3 years ago, and many species still viewed them with suspicion or fear. Kate didn't seem bothered. She packed her notebook carefully and waited for the others to leave before approaching his desk. "Professor Morgan," she said, "I wanted to thank you for welcoming me to your class." Up close, Alex noticed details he'd missed from across the room. Kate had small scars on her hands, thin white lines that spoke of past injuries. Her posture was perfect, balanced in a way that suggested physical training. And her eyes missed nothing, scanning his desk, the room, the doorway in quick, efficient movements. "Of course, Ms. Miller, the Academy values diversity of perspective." He paused. "I must admit, you're the first human to take my course. Earth's recent Federation membership makes you something of a pioneer." "Not exactly," Kate said. "Earth has been sending students to the Academy for the past 2 years, Alex frowned. "That's not possible. The registry would show the official." "Registry, yes," Kate interrupted with that same pleasant smile. "I'm simply the first human in your particular class, Professor." Something about her tone made Alex uneasy. He'd spent his career studying dangerous creatures he knew predatory behavior when he saw it. "May I ask why you chose this specific course?" he asked carefully. Kate's smile widened slightly. "Professional interest. I specialized in comparative biology back on Earth. Your reputation as an expert on cross-species predatory evolution is well known." "I see." Alex wasn't sure he did. "Well, I look forward to your contributions." "One question, if I may," Kate said as she turned to leave. "Will we be covering human predatory adaptations in this course?" The question caught Alex off guard. "I hadn't planned to, specifically. Earth's membership is still quite recent, and our data is ... limited." "That's a shame," Kate replied. "You might find it illuminating." She adjusted her bag on her shoulder. "Humans didn't evolve to be the strongest, fastest, or most physically imposing species on Earth. Yet somehow we ended up at the top of every food chain on the planet. Curious, isn't it?" Before Alex could respond, she was gone, leaving him with a strange feeling of having missed something important. Later that evening, as Alex updated his lesson plans, he received a notification. 2 more humans had enrolled in the academy that day, one in galactic politics and another in military history. Both had listed their previous education as Earth Central University. Just like Kate, Alex pulled up the Federation's limited files on Earth, most focused on the planet's harsh environment, extreme weather, high gravity, deadly radiation levels from their sun, and the remarkable number of venomous and predatory species. Very little information existed about the humans themselves beyond basic biological data. A new message appeared on his screen. "Faculty notice, due to recent enrollment changes. All professors are reminded that observation protocols remain in effect for species from newly admitted worlds. Report any unusual behavior or concerning incidents immediately." Alex closed the message and leaned back in his chair. For 15 years, he had taught students about the galaxy's most dangerous predators. Now he couldn't shake the feeling that perhaps his most dangerous student was the quiet human with the paper notebook and watchful eyes. The lesson tomorrow was on stealth predators, creatures that hide in plain sight until it's too late for their prey to escape. Somehow, Alex thought Kate Miller might have some insights to share. 2 weeks passed, and Professor Alex Morgan noticed changes in his classroom. The empty seats beside Kate Miller were no longer empty. A tall Chirac student named Drell had moved next to her after she helped him understand a complex hunting pattern. On her other side sat Zadok, the blue-skinned Nazuli who had pointed out Earth's Deathworld status on the first day. "Today," Alex announced as the class settled, "we will discuss your semester project." The room buzzed with excitement. This project was famous among Academy students, a deep study of a specific predator from a Class 7 environment. "You will work in pairs," Alex continued, bringing up a display. "I've assigned partners based on complementary skills." Groans and whispers filled the room as students found their names on the list. Alex watched as Zadok's 4 eyes widened in shock when he saw his partner, Kate Miller. "Professor," Zadok protested, his mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. "I respectfully request a different partner. Your request is denied," Alex said firmly. "The Academy values diverse perspectives. Miss Miller's insights will be valuable." "To your research?" Zadok's blue skin darkened with emotion. "But humans are what, exactly?" Kate asked quietly from her seat. The room went silent. It was the first time Kate had directly challenged anyone. "Humans are..." Zadok seemed to reconsider his words. "Unknown factors. Your species has shared very little about your evolution." Kate smiled. "Then this project is a perfect opportunity to learn from each other." After class, Alex observed Kate approach her reluctant partner. Their conversation seemed tense but civil. When Zadok walked away, his posture seemed less rigid than before. That evening, Alex reviewed the Academy's restricted files on Earth. Most data focused on the planet's extreme conditions, not on the humans themselves. One brief mention caught his eye. Humans display unusual pack-bonding behaviors, forming strong attachments even to non-human species. Alex wondered if Kate was deliberately forming these bonds with her classmates. The next day, Kate arrived early. She found Alex preparing specimens for the day's lesson. "Professor, I have a question about our project," she said. "Zadok wants to research the Karkin bog stalker from Rigel 9. I suggested we might choose something more challenging." "The bog stalker is a fascinating subject," Alex replied, studying her carefully. "Why do you feel it's not challenging enough?" Kate's green eyes fixed on him. "It relies primarily on ambush tactics and venom. I thought we might study something more ... complex. Perhaps a pack hunter like the Sarian Volf analogs." "Those creatures are among the most dangerous in the Federation," Alex said. "Most students avoid them as subjects." "I find pack dynamics interesting," Kate said simply. Alex made a decision. "Stick with the bog stalker. Its hunting methods are more subtle than most realize." Kate nodded and turned to leave, but Alex had one more question. "Miss Miller, how many other human students are currently at the academy?" Kate paused at the door. "Officially?" "Just 3 of us. And unofficially?" Her smile returned. "Professor, have you ever heard of a human concept called need to know?" She left before he could respond. Later that week, Alex observed Kate and Zadok working in the library. They sat surrounded by data screens showing images of the bog stalker, a 6-limbed predator with translucent skin that hunted in murky waters. What surprised Alex was how intently Zadok listened as Kate explained something. His earlier reluctance seemingly forgotten. Alex moved closer, pretending to search for a reference text. "The bog stalker doesn't just rely on camouflage," Kate was saying. "It studies its prey, learning patterns and weaknesses before attacking." "But that would require significant intelligence," Zadok argued. "The Federation classification lists it as having only basic predatory instincts." "Sometimes classifications are wrong," Kate replied. "On Earth, we once thought octopuses were simple creatures. Now we know they're among the most intelligent beings in our oceans." "You speak as if you've observed bog stalkers personally," Zadok said. Kate smiled. "I've studied similar hunting behaviors." 2 days later, Alex received another notification. A 4th human student had enrolled at the academy, this one in advanced weapons systems. Like Kate, the student listed their previous education as Earth Central University. During the next class, Alex focused the discussion on communal predators. "While many apex hunters are solitary," he explained, "some of the most efficient predators hunt in groups. This requires communication, coordination, and often a social hierarchy." He noticed Kate taking detailed notes in her paper notebook. "Miss Miller," he called out, "Earth has pack predators, does it not? Wolves, lions, and the like?" Kate looked up. "Yes, Professor." "And humans, of course." The classroom went silent. "Would you elaborate?" Alex asked carefully. "Early humans were persistence hunters," Kate explained. "We lacked natural weapons, no claws or powerful jaws. Instead, we used our endurance and intelligence. We would chase prey for days if necessary, working in small groups, taking turns to track and herd. The prey would eventually collapse from exhaustion." Several students shifted uncomfortably. "But that was ancient history," Alex said. "Surely modern humans don't." "Our methods evolved," Kate interrupted, "but the underlying strategy remains. Humans still excel at identifying weaknesses, coordinating efforts, and pursuing goals with remarkable persistence." After class, Zadok approached Alex. "Professor, I have concerns about our project." "What's troubling you?" Alex asked. "Kate knows things about predator behavior that aren't in any academy text," Zadok said, mandibles twitching nervously. "Yesterday, she predicted a hunting pattern in the bog stalker that we later confirmed in rare footage. When I asked how she knew, she just said it was logical from an evolutionary standpoint. Perhaps she has access to Earth's biological databases." Alex suggested. Zadok's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of disagreement. "It wasn't like reading facts, Professor. It was like recognition." That night, Alex couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Kate's words. Humans still excel at identifying weaknesses. He sent a message to Academy Security requesting information on all human enrollments. The response came immediately. "Access restricted. Inquiry logged. Continue observation protocols." Alex stared at his screen. Something unusual was happening at the academy. The humans weren't just students, they were studying them. The academy, the Federation itself, and in his class about the galaxy's most dangerous predators, he couldn't shake the feeling that the most dangerous one sat in the back row, taking notes in a paper notebook, watching them all with those sharp green eyes. A month passed, and the day for Kate and Zadok to present their project arrived. The classroom was full. Word had spread about the unusual partnership between the Nuzuli student and the human from Earth. Professor Alex Morgan watched as they set up their presentation. Kate seemed calm, her movements efficient and precise. Zadok, normally so composed, kept glancing at his partner with what looked like newfound respect. Today we present our research on the Karkan bog stalker from Rigel 9. Zadok began, his forearms gesturing at the display behind him. A mid-tier predator with unique hunting strategies. The display showed a creature with 6 limbs and almost transparent skin. Its long body moved through murky water, nearly invisible. The bog stalker hunts in the methane swamps of Rigel 9, Kate continued. While Federation records classify it as a simple ambush predator, our research reveals something more complex. She advanced to the next image, a detailed scan of the creature's nervous system. The bog stalker has redundant neural pathways, she explained, pointing to specific areas. This allows it to function even after serious injury. But what makes this creature truly remarkable is its hunting strategy. Kate's voice remained soft, but every student leaned forward to listen. It doesn't rely on size or strength, she said. It relies on patience and intelligence. The next series of images showed the bog stalker tracking prey over several days, watching, learning patterns, and then striking precisely when the prey was most vulnerable. The bog stalker will observe its prey for up to 14 days, Kate explained. It learns routines, identifies weaknesses, and plans its attack carefully. Several students shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Most predators attack at the first opportunity, Kate continued. The bog stalker waits for the perfect moment. It's not the strongest predator in its environment, but it's among the most successful. Zadok added, this challenges our understanding of predatory evolution. Intelligence and patience can be more effective than physical strength. When they finished, the room was silent for a moment. Then questions came rapidly. How does it communicate with others of its kind? Asked a Vortani student. It doesn't, Kate answered. The bog stalker is solitary. Each develops its own hunting strategies through observation and experience. But that would require higher intelligence than previously thought, argued a Chirac student with multiple eyes blinking in disagreement. Exactly, Kate smiled. Our research suggests the Federation classification system may need updating. After the presentations ended, Professor Morgan called Kate to his office. He found her already waiting when he arrived. That was an excellent presentation, Miss Miller, he said, closing the door behind him. Your insights were unusually detailed. Kate nodded. Thank you, Professor. In fact, Morgan continued, sitting behind his desk, your knowledge of the bog stalker's behavior went beyond any published research I'm familiar with. Almost as if you had first-hand experience. I did extensive research, Kate replied simply. Including sources not available to the Academy? Kate's green eyes met his steadily. Let's just say Earth's understanding of predatory behavior comes from long experience. Morgan leaned forward. I'm curious, why did Earth send just one student to my class? Who says they sent just one? Kate replied with that same measured smile. Morgan felt a chill. The registry only shows you in advanced predatory species studies. Official registries don't always tell the complete story, Professor. As she spoke, Morgan noticed something he hadn't before, the way Kate moved. Every gesture was efficient. No wasted energy, nothing for show. It reminded him of the hunting patterns they had just discussed. Miss Miller, what is Earth's real interest in the Academy? Kate seemed to consider the question. The same as any world joining the Federation, learning, exchange of knowledge, building relationships. Then why the secrecy around student enrollments? Earth is careful, Kate said. We come from a Deathworld, Professor. Caution is how we survived. Before Morgan could ask another question, his display chimed with a message. Another human student had been cleared for enrollment, this one in Galactic Security Protocols. Interesting timing, Morgan said, turning the display so Kate could see. She glanced at it without surprise. Alan Foster. He's qualified. You know him? We trained together. Morgan caught the word. Trained, not studied. Kate stood. A slip of the tongue. Earth English has many overlapping terms. After she left, Morgan sent an urgent message to the Academy Board requesting information about Earth's admission process. The response was brief. Inquiry noted. Continue standard observation. Direct concerns to galactic security. Later that week, Morgan observed Kate during a practical lab session. Students were studying preserved specimens of various predators. Kate worked with clinical precision, her hands steady as she examined a juvenile Saraxian spine lizard, a highly venomous creature from another Deathworld. Nearby, a new student that Morgan didn't recognize was setting up equipment. The young man had sandy hair and moved with the same efficient grace as Kate. When Morgan checked the class roster on his tablet, he found no record of this student. Excuse me, Morgan approached him. I don't believe you're registered for this class. The young man looked up with a pleasant smile. Ren Davis, sir. I'm auditing today with security clearance. He handed Morgan an official academy pass. Morgan examined it. Everything seemed in order, but something felt wrong. Which department are you with, Mr. Davis? Xenocultural Studies, Ren replied. I'm focusing on interspecies diplomatic protocols. Diplomatic protocols. Security procedures? Predatory behavior? Morgan suddenly realized the pattern. The humans were systematically studying every aspect of the Federation, its species, its defenses, its power structures. Is there a problem, Professor? Ren asked, his tone friendly, but his eyes sharp and watchful, the same alert gaze he had noticed in Kate. No problem, Morgan said carefully. Welcome to the class. As Morgan walked away, he noticed Kate watching them from across the room. She gave Ren a small nod, barely perceptible. That evening, Morgan found a new message in his secure academy. Account. Advisory. Earth Military Assessment Program active at Academy. Multiple human operatives present. Standard observation protocols in effect. Morgan stared at the screen, remembering Kate's words from their first meeting. Earth has been sending students to the Academy for the past 2 years. The humans weren't just students. They were studying them. And no one at the Academy seemed concerned. In fact, they seemed to be facilitating it. In his 15 years teaching about the galaxy's deadliest predators, Morgan had never felt like prey until now. Professor Alex Morgan could not sleep. For 3 nights he had tossed and turned, thinking about the message on his screen. Earth Military Assessment Program active at Academy. What did it mean? Why was the Academy allowing it? And most importantly, what were the humans really doing here? The next morning, Morgan arrived early to prepare for the day's practical lab. Students would be working with live specimens for the first time, low-risk predators in secure containment units. As he set up the lab, Morgan noticed Kate and Ren already waiting outside the door, talking quietly. When the class began, Morgan watched them carefully. The other students still kept a cautious distance from Kate, but they no longer seemed afraid, more curious, even respectful after her impressive presentation on the bogstalker. Today we will observe live hunting behaviors, Morgan announced. Each containment unit holds a predator from a Class 5 environment. Your task is to document their reactions to simulated prey. The students broke into pairs. Kate worked with Zadok again, while Ren partnered with a nervous Vortani student named Lyrax. Morgan moved around the room, offering guidance and observing. When he reached Kate and Zadok, they were studying a juvenile Saraxian spine lizard, the same species Kate had examined as a preserved specimen the week before. The creature was small but deadly, with venomous spines along its back that could paralyze most species in seconds. It's beautiful, Kate said softly, watching the lizard track a holographic prey insect inside its containment unit. Beautiful? Zadok's mandibles clicked in surprise. It's one of the deadliest creatures in the Saraxian system. On Earth, we often find beauty in dangerous things, Kate replied. Some of our most admired animals are also our most lethal. Morgan was about to move on when he heard a crash from across the room. Lyrax had accidentally knocked over a containment unit. The secure lid remained intact, but the unit had fallen on its side. The spine lizard inside was agitated, its poisonous spines fully extended. Stay back, Morgan ordered, moving toward the fallen unit. Those containment fields can weaken if the power cells are damaged. As if confirming his fears, the unit's status light flickered from green to amber. A moment later, the transparent lid popped open, and the spine lizard skittered out onto the floor. Students scrambled onto tables and chairs. The Vortani, especially vulnerable to the lizard's venom, backed against the far wall, their scales shimmering with fear. Morgan reached for the emergency containment field generator on his belt, but before he could activate it, someone moved. With startling speed, Kate was across the room in an instant. With movements too quick for Morgan to follow clearly, she trapped the creature under a transparent specimen box. The lizard hissed and struck at the box, its venomous spines scraping harmlessly against the inside. The room went silent. Every student stared at Kate. How did you move so fast? Zadok asked later as the class filed out. The security team had arrived to properly contain the spine lizard, and Morgan had dismissed the students early. Earth has higher gravity than this station, Kate explained, packing her notebook. It makes us seem quick to other species. Morgan, pretending to clean up nearby, listened carefully. I've been researching humans for our next project, Zadok said, his 4 eyes fixed on Kate. Your reaction time exceeded even compensated gravity adjustment parameters. Kate's smile faded slightly. Maybe you should focus on our assignment instead of on me. I'm just curious, Zadok continued. The way you trapped the lizard, you weren't afraid of it? Why would I be? Earth has creatures just as dangerous. But you knew exactly how to handle it? Zadok pressed. As if you'd done it before? Kate shouldered her bag. Good observation, Zadok. That's what makes a successful predator, noticing patterns others miss. After the students left, Morgan found Wren still in the room, studying the containment units with apparent interest. That was an impressive display from your colleague, Morgan said casually. Wren smiled. Kate has good reflexes. Better than good, I'd say. Almost as if she had trained specifically for handling dangerous creatures. Earth is full of dangerous creatures, Professor, Wren replied. Living there is training enough. Mr. Davis, Morgan said directly, why are you really here? And please, no more stories about auditing or exchange programs. Wren's friendly expression didn't change, but his eyes became more focused, more alert. I'm here to learn, just like every other student. The difference being that other students are registered properly and don't appear to be conducting military assessments of the Academy. Wren's smile faded. You should discuss your concerns with Academy security, Professor. I did. They seem unconcerned. Almost as if they were expecting you. Then there's no problem, is there? Wren turned to leave but paused at the door. By the way, Kate was right about the bogstalker. Federation classifications often underestimate intelligence in other species. It's a dangerous oversight. That evening, Morgan used his senior faculty clearance to access records on human enrollment. Across all departments, the official count was 7. But when he cross-referenced class attendance logs and security scans, he found evidence of at least 12 humans moving through the Academy. More disturbing was what they were studying: weapon systems, security, protocols, xenobiology with a focus on vulnerabilities, galactic politics, and military history. It painted a clear picture, one that made Morgan increasingly uneasy. He drafted a message to the Academy board detailing his concerns but hesitated before sending it. If the board was already aware of the human assessment program, his message might only identify him as a potential problem. Instead, Morgan decided to approach Kate directly. If he could understand their true intentions, perhaps he could determine whether they posed a genuine threat. The next day, he found her in the library, studying alone. Miss Miller, he said, sitting across from her, I think it's time we had an honest conversation. Kate looked up from her notes. About what, Professor? About why Earth has sent military observers to study every aspect of the Galactic Federation. Kate's expression didn't change, but her posture shifted slightly more alert, more ready. It reminded Morgan of the spine lizard when the containment unit had opened. That's an interesting theory, she said calmly. It's not a theory. I've seen. The security advisory. Kate closed her notebook. Then you know this is sanctioned at the highest levels. What I don't know is why, Morgan said. Is Earth preparing for something? Earth is always preparing, Professor, Kate replied, her green eyes steady. That's how we survived on a Deathworld. We assess, we learn, we adapt. And what have you? Learned about us? Kate smiled, not her usual measured smile, but something more genuine. That's the most interesting question you've asked yet, and one I think you already know the answer to. Morgan felt a chill run through him. You've learned that we underestimate you. Among other things, Kate agreed. You've spent years teaching about the galaxy's deadliest predators, Professor. But you've overlooked the most successful predatory species you've encountered. Humans, Kate nodded once. The real lesson was never about bogstalkers or spine lizards. It was about recognition. About seeing the predator before it sees you. As she gathered her things to leave, Morgan had one last question. Are you a threat? To the Federation? Kate paused. That depends entirely on the Federation, doesn't it? The final week of the semester arrived. Professor Alex Morgan had barely slept in days. His research into the Earth Military Assessment Program had yielded little beyond what he already knew. The humans were systematically studying the Federation, and the Academy leadership was allowing it. The final exam for Advanced Predatory Species Studies was set for today. Students would need to identify and catalog 10 unknown species based only on behavioral observations. The specimens were kept in specialized habitats throughout the laboratory. Morgan arrived early to set up, but Kate and Wren were already there, talking quietly in the corner. They stopped when they saw him. Professor. Kate nodded politely. We wanted to get an early start. The exam doesn't begin for another hour, Morgan said. We know, Wren smiled. Just eager to finish strong. Other students filtered in gradually. The Vortani clustered together, their scales shimmering with nervous energy. The Nuzuli, including Zadok, performed their pre-exam meditation ritual. The Chirac students reviewed notes with all 4 eyes blinking rapidly. You may begin, Morgan announced when everyone was seated. You have 3 hours to complete your observations and submit your findings. The room filled with the sound of movement. As students approached the habitat chambers, each contained a different predatory species behind one-way transparent barriers. The creatures could not see the students, but the students could observe them. Morgan watched Kate and Wren work. They moved from habitat to habitat, spending just minutes at each one. They didn't take notes like the other students. They simply observed, talked quietly, and moved on. Within an hour, they had visited all 10 habitats. While other students were still on their 3rd or 4th specimen, Kate and Wren returned to their seats and began entering their answers into the Academy system. Morgan checked their progress on his monitor. Their answers were coming in rapidly, and they were perfect. Every species correctly identified with detailed observations about hunting patterns, physical adaptations, and potential weaknesses. 30 minutes later, they submitted their completed exams and stood to leave. Finished already? Morgan asked, keeping his voice neutral. Yes, Professor, Kate replied. The patterns were quite clear once you know what to look for. After they left, Morgan reviewed their answers more carefully. They hadn't just identified. The species they had noticed details that even he had missed. Subtle behaviors, minor anatomical features, potential vulnerabilities. Their analysis was beyond graduate level. It was expert level. When the other students finished their exams and left, Morgan sat alone in the empty classroom. He needed to understand what was happening before he took his concerns higher. He decided to confront Kate and Wren directly. He found them in the Academy gardens, sitting on a bench overlooking the artificial lake. They seemed to be expecting him. Professor Morgan, Wren said pleasantly. Join us? Morgan sat across from them. I want to know the truth, all of it. Kate and Wren exchanged a glance. You're not regular students, are you? Morgan asked. We're exactly what our records say students from Earth, Kate replied. Earth sent you to study us, Morgan realized aloud. While we thought we were studying Deathworld predators, you were studying us. Every species evaluates potential threats and allies, Wren said matter-of-factly. The Federation has been studying Earth since first contact. But why send you to my class specifically? Kate's smile returned, but there was nothing friendly about it now. Your curriculum is fascinating, Professor. Know your enemy is a concept. Older than human spaceflight. We're not enemies, Morgan protested. Of course not, Kate agreed, leaning forward. But isn't that exactly what your intelligence services told you to say if humans ever figured out we were being classified and studied as Deathworld predators? Morgan's silence was answer enough. Did you know, Wren said conversationally, that the Federation's Security Council classified humans as a potential destabilizing element 3 days after Earth joined? Or that there's a contingency plan for containing Earth if we become problematic? Morgan felt cold. How could you possibly know that? The same way we know about the restricted xenobiology research being conducted on human genetic samples, Kate said. We pay attention. Is that why you're here? Gathering intelligence for a conflict? Wren laughed softly. If we wanted conflict, Professor, we wouldn't need to study you first. Then what do you want? Respect? Kate said simply. Understanding. Recognition of what we truly are. And what are you? Survivors, Kate replied. Earth tried to kill us for millions of years. It threw everything at us, predators, diseases, natural disasters, climate shifts. We survived it all. Not because we were strongest or fastest, but because we watched, learned, and adapted, just like the bog stalker, Morgan said quietly. Exactly, Kate nodded. The Federation sees Earth as a death world and humans as primitive newcomers to be studied and contained. We came here to correct that misunderstanding before it leads to problems. Morgan considered this. The Academy Board knows about your program. Of course, Wren said. We have nothing to hide. Unlike some members of the Federation. So what happens now? Kate stood. Now we finish our semester, return to Earth, and file our reports. 7 more humans will arrive next semester to continue the assessment. And then? That depends on what our reports conclude, Kate said. And on what the Federation decides to do with that information. As they walked away, Kate paused and turned back. Your lessons on Deathworld predators were excellent, Professor. But you missed something crucial. What's that? Morgan asked. The most dangerous predators don't look dangerous at all. They look ordinary. That's what makes them so effective. She glanced around at the Academy grounds. You've been teaching about obvious threats while overlooking the one sitting in your classroom? That's a dangerous oversight. After they departed, Morgan returned to his office and reviewed the semester's security footage. He counted not 2, but 14 humans enrolled across different departments, all performing exceptionally well. All watching, learning, assessing. Morgan sent an urgent message to the Academy Board. Regarding Earth integration, we may have severely underestimated them. They're not just surviving in our environment, they're thriving. And they're studying U.S. far more effectively than we're studying them. The reply came almost immediately. Assessment noted. Continue observation. No action required at this time. Morgan stared at the message in disbelief. The Federation was making the same mistake he had underestimating the quiet predators from Earth. In his 15 years, teaching about dangerous creatures. Morgan had learned one crucial lesson. The most successful predators were not always the strongest or most aggressive. They were the most patient, the most observant, the most adaptable. By that standard, humans might be the most dangerous predators the galaxy had ever seen. And they were already inside the gates. As the semester ended, Morgan watched Kate and Wren board the transport back to Earth. They waved to him politely, like any other students saying goodbye to their professor, but Morgan knew better now. They weren't just students. They were scouts, observers, the first wave of a species that had conquered the most dangerous planet in the known galaxy. The lesson on Deathworld predators was over. But Morgan suspected the real education was just beginning.